Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine, if you will, a small, vibrant coastal village in Tamil Nadu, India. Life there really pulses with the rhythm of the Arabian Sea.
Yeah, every morning a fresh start, right? Every net holds that promise of a livelihood.
Exactly. Now let's picture a specific morning, August 29, 2025. This whole rhythm, this routine, it's just violently shattered. Right there at Thengapattanam Harbor in Kanniyakumari district.
So what started as just another fishing trip, it spirals into something much bigger.
Into a community's worst nightmare, really. And it kicks off this outcry that goes way beyond just those shores.
All right.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into this incident because it really shines a harsh light on these intense pressure points where vital environmental conservation efforts just crash head-on with the day-to-day survival of traditional fishing communities.
Yeah, it's that classic conflict.
Our mission here is to peel back the layers, bring you the crucial insights, the human stories, and the wider context to really make sense of it all for you.
And what's really fascinating, I think, about this single event in Thengapattanam is how it works as this kind of microcosm. It mirrors these global challenges we see in coastal areas everywhere.
Like what specifically?
Well, navigating these increasingly tough regulations, the relentless economic pressures communities face, and that silent threat, really, of climate change reshaping their whole world.
It's a story of local resilience being seriously tested, isn't it? By forces that span oceans and policy books.
Absolutely.
And to really get a grip on these forces, we have to zoom right in on that specific day in Thengapattanam. This isn't some sleepy little place. It's a bustling hub. Generations of fishing tradition are just etched into its soul.
Right, part of its identity.
So that August morning, just like they always have, fishermen cast their nets into the Arabian Sea. But the haul that day, it included something unexpected and ultimately really problematic.
Okay, what was it?
A significant number of fish belonging to a species protected under India's Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. Now, authorities haven't officially said which species.
But the suggestion is...
Strongly suggested it's a type of shark or ray. And for anyone who follows marine ecosystems, these are considered absolutely critical for ocean health.
Oh, definitely. Sharks, rays. They're vital apex predators, or keystone species in many cases.
Yeah.
So what happened when they got back?
Well, upon their return to Thengapattanam Harbor, they basically found a reception committee waiting, a team from the Tamil Nadu Fisheries Department and forest officials, clearly acting on a tip-off.
Ah, tip-off. Interesting.
Yeah. And the protected fish were swiftly confiscated. But here's where it gets really messy, and for the community, just deeply frustrating.
Okay.
The fishermen strongly claim they had absolutely no idea about the species' protected status, like genuinely unaware they were breaking the law.
Right. Which, given the sheer number of species out there, might be plausible for some. Identifying everything in a mixed catch isn't easy.
Exactly. And what's more, a big chunk of their legal catch the fish they were totally entitled to bring in was also seized, leaving them with practically nothing for their day's work.
Wow. Okay, so not just the protected species, but their legitimate catch, too.
Yes. And this incident just immediately ignited widespread outrage. It plunged these families into this very real fear of, crippling fines, serious legal action, maybe even jail time.
And losing their main income source, obviously.
Devastating loss of their primary income. It's a classic case, really, of policy intentions clashing hard with the reality on the ground.
It really is.
And when you hear these stories, you quickly realize Thengapattanam isn't just a location. It's home to thousands of families. Their whole lives are tied to the sea.
Absolutely intertwined.
The feeling of betrayal among them,
Yeah.
it's almost tangible. I spoke to Michael, a 45-year-old fisherman, hands weathered by decades on the water. His voice was just heavy with this sense of injustice.
What did he say?
He told us pretty straight, "We've been fishing these waters for decades. We don't go out looking for trouble. Sometimes," he said, "these fish just get caught in our nets by mistake. How are we supposed to know every single rule when all we're trying to do is feed our families?"
That really hits home, doesn't it? You can feel the desperation.
You really can. The impossible bind they feel they're in.
And what Michael's words really underscore, I think, is this critical disconnect between the letter of the law and how it actually plays out in practice.
Yeah.
Because look, conservation laws are undeniably well-intentioned. They're vital for protecting our oceans. Nobody disputes that. But the lack of truly effective awareness campaigns.
Right, actually letting people know what's protected and what isn't in a way they can understand.
Exactly. Combined with the sheer difficulty of visually identifying protected species in a big mixed catch, maybe in poor light, on a rocking boat, it creates an almost impossible situation for these traditional fishers.
So they're basically being asked to follow these really specific, nuanced rules.
Rules they might barely understand, risking their entire livelihood every single day. It points to a kind of systemic failure, maybe, where conservation policy, vital as it is, hasn't quite developed the right feedback loops with the communities it impacts most.
Creating this knowledge gap that just fuels conflict instead of maybe collaboration.
Precisely, yeah.
That's a really powerful point. Now let's dig into the legal framework here. The Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, that's the backbone, right? Can you explain how it applies, especially with these accidental catches?
Absolutely. So the seizure in Thengapattanam is rooted directly in this act. It's a comprehensive piece of legislation designed specifically to safeguard endangered species. It includes various schedules listing protected marine life, certain sharks, rays, even corals.
Okay.
And the crucial point, the real kicker for the fishermen, is that the act prohibits their capture, period. Whether it's intentional, like a deliberate hunt, or, as they claim in this case, an accidental bycatch.
So intent doesn't matter under the law.
Largely, no. For the fishermen, this means even an accidental catch can lead to serious legal trouble. Violators face potentially hefty fines, which could just ruin a family.
Or even prison.
Or even imprisonment, depending on the specifics, the species involved, the scale. And it's worth noting, Tamil Nadu has actually intensified enforcement in recent years.
Why the step up now?
Driven by very real concerns about overfishing, declining fish stocks, and the general depletion of marine biodiversity. So while the act is from '72, the enforcement pressure has definitely ramped up.
Okay, so what does this ramped up enforcement mean for the fishing industry as a whole in Tamil Nadu? I mean, it's a huge industry there, isn't it?
Oh, it's massive. A 2022 report from the Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute gives us some numbers. Tamil Nadu's marine fish production was at 5.97 lakh tons. That's nearly 600,000 metric tons.
Wow.
And it directly supports over 10.48 lakh people. That's more than 1 million fishers. It's a huge economic engine, a whole ecosystem of livelihoods.
But the same report flagged declines.
Exactly. The same report flags declining populations of certain species. Clear signs of overexploitation, which, makes conservation efforts seem even more critical.
And Kanniyakumari, where Thengapattanam is, that's a sensitive area too, right?
Highly sensitive. It's part of the Gulf of Mannar Biosphere Reserve, a globally recognized biodiversity hotspot. So this just amplifies the tension we're talking about. Protecting this vital resource versus people's daily survival.
But here's the thing, right? These laws, vital as they are, they seem to hit the small guys hardest.
Disproportionately, yes. Small-scale fishers often lack the resources, the fancy gear, the selective nets, maybe, that large commercial trawlers might have. For them, an accidental capture isn't some deliberate act of poaching. It's an occupational hazard, often unavoidable with the kind of nets they use.
And the economic fallout in Thengapattanam, it's not just a possibility, it's happening now. It sounds devastating.
It is. It's stark, immediate. Think about it. A single day's catch might bring in anywhere from, say, $5,000 to $20,000. That's roughly $60 to $240.
Which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's absolutely essential for families often living hand to mouth, right?
Completely essential. They're already operating on incredibly thin margins.
And they already face that long annual fishing ban.
Right. The 61-day ban from April 15th to June 15th, that's a necessary conservation measure, allows stocks to replenish, but it puts huge financial strain on them already.
To losing even one more day's earnings.
Yeah.
Let alone a whole catch, including the legal fish.
It pushes them straight into debt. For fuel, for boat repairs, just for basic food. Rajesh, a boat owner, young guy in his early 30s, he summed up the despair. He said, "We just want a fair chance to work. If they take our catch, how do we pay our loans? How do we feed our children?"
It's a desperate plea.
Yeah.
Highlights that razor-thin edge they live on.
Absolutely.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, this isn't just about one boat's crew, is it? The ripple effect must spread.
Oh, definitely. Far beyond individual families. Think about Thengapattanam's fish market. It's a crucial hub for the whole local economy. When catches are seized, activity just dips immediately.
So vendors lose out, transporters.
Vendors, transporters, ice suppliers, net menders, all the ancillary workers who rely on that fishing activity feel the pinch. Any disruption in that supply chain impacts everyone right down the line.
It's like a localized economic shockwaves.
Exactly. It can really destabilize the entire community's economy.
Now, Shifting gears slightly, these challenges the Thengapattanam fishermen face, they're not totally unique to Tamil Nadu, are they? We hear similar stories, especially with Sri Lanka.
That's right. The issues echo across the Palk Strait. We often hear about the arrests of Tamil Nadu fishermen by the Sri Lankan Navy, usually for allegedly crossing the international maritime boundary line.
That's been a flashpoint for years.
A major, long-standing point of contention. As of late November 2024, the numbers were stark. 141 Indian fishermen still in Sri Lankan jails, nearly 200 trawlers confiscated.
Which triggers protests back in Tamil Nadu, understandable.
Understandably. But what's really nuanced here is the perspective from Sri Lanka. Their fishermen, particularly in the Tamil-speaking northern province, often sympathize with the Indian fishermen's struggles.
Right.
But they remain absolutely firm on protecting their own waters. Their main concern, bottom trawling.
Can you just quickly explain why bottom trawling is such a big deal?
Sure. Bottom trawling basically involves dragging these heavy-weighted nets across the seabed. It scoops up everything indiscriminately.
Not just the target fish.
Not at all. It devastates crucial habitats, coral reefs, seagrass beds, the nurseries of the ocean, essentially. It can cause long-term ecosystem collapse. Sri Lanka banned it for this very reason. They're fiercely protective of their recovering fish stocks.
And there's a difference in the scale of fishing fleets, too.
A huge difference. Tamil Nadu has something like 5,440 mechanized boats, many equipped for bottom trawling. Sri Lanka has just over 5,000 total, but only about 141 operate in those northern districts where these clashes often happen.
So it fuels this fear of their resources being wiped out.
A deep-seated fear, yeah. Fear of depleted stocks, fear for their own long-term livelihoods. It's a complex regional tension.
And if all that wasn't enough, there's this other massive factor looming over everything, this unseen culprit, climate change.
Ah, yes. The silent disruptor.
Rising sea temperatures, monsoons all over the place, more frequent and intense cyclones. It's messing with the fish patterns, isn't it?
Fundamentally disrupting them. This is a huge compounding issue. Fishermen right there in Thengapattanam are saying species that used to be abundant are now scarce.
Forcing them to go further out.
Further out, into deeper waters, sometimes into those contested or restricted zones, just trying to find a decent catch. It's a vicious cycle.
I heard a quote from a fisherman, Marivelle, in Pamban.
Yes. Starkly put it. 10 years ago, our nets were full of fish. Now we catch more plastic than sardines.
That's heartbreaking. And it drives home how all these pressures stack up.
And the increasing frequency of cyclones, especially in that November to February window, just makes everything worse. Remember Cyclone Amphan in 2020?
Vaguely, yes.
Damaged somewhere between 70 and 90 boats in Ramanathapuram district alone. Just wiped out people's capital, their means of working.
So what we're seeing in Thengapattanam, it really is a perfect storm, isn't it? Natural disasters, tough regulations, economic crackdowns.
All converging on the same vulnerable community. It forces them into these impossible choices, which can sometimes worsen the very problems the laws are trying to fix.
So, given this perfect storm, what are the paths forward? Are people in Thengapattanam just giving up, or are they pushing back, looking for solutions?
Oh, they're definitely pushing back. Fishermen's associations are actively appealing to the Tamil Nadu government. Their immediate demands are pretty clear.
Compensation, I imagine.
Compensation for the lost catch, absolutely. And crucially, much greater clarity on these marine conservation laws. They need to know what the rules actually are in practice.
And leaders like P. Raja.
Yes, president of the All India Mechanized Boats Fishermen Association. He put it very clearly. We're not against protecting the environment. That's important. They're saying, but we need training, better equipment, and fair policies. Right now, he says, it feels like we're being punished for doing our job.
And what's the official response been like from the Fisheries Department?
Well, they acknowledge the need for better communication. They state they are working on awareness programs, but they also admit it's, a complex issue. It's not simple.
Does the state offer any support currently? During the ban, maybe?
Yes, the state does have a history of supporting the fishing community during that annual 61-day ban, usually with some financial assistance. But many argue these measures just aren't enough for sudden, unexpected events like this big seizure where livelihoods vanish overnight.
Right. You mentioned alternative livelihoods earlier, seaweed farming, aquaculture.
Yeah.
How realistic is that as a large-scale solution, transitioning people away from generations of fishing?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The idea of alternatives like seaweed farming or fish farming, aquaculture, It's definitely gaining traction. The goal is to reduce that sole reliance on traditional fishing.
But it's not easy.
Far from it.
Hmm.
While there have been some successes in other regions, scaling these up in places like Thengapattanam, while fishing is so deeply embedded in the culture, in family history, in skills passed down, it presents huge challenges.
That kind of challenges.
You need significant investment in training, for starters, then infrastructure, developing markets for these new products. And crucially, you need a really patient, empathetic approach that respects the community's heritage.
It's not just about giving someone a new job description.
Not at all. It's about helping them build a genuinely new future, hopefully one that still maintains some connection to the sea they know. It really has to be a multi-pronged approach.
Like what? What does that look like?
Investing in practical, hands-on education, how to actually identify protected species at sea, encouraging the adoption of more sustainable fishing gear and practices, implementing more empathetic enforcement.
Meaning what? Distinguishing accidents from deliberate rule breaking.
Exactly. Distinguishing accidental bycatch from deliberate poaching, fostering real regional cooperation with Sri Lanka on managing fisheries jointly, maybe.
That seems crucial but difficult.
Very difficult, but necessary. And even exploring technology, things like real-time monitoring systems, maybe mobile apps that could alert fishermen if they're nearing a restricted zone or if there's a known hotspot for protected species nearby.
Lots of potential avenues, but complex. So wrapping this up, what started as this one seized catch in Thengapattanam on August 29th, 2025, it really blew up into this incredibly complex picture, didn't it?
It really did. A deep interplay between conservation and just survival.
And Tamil Nadu, ranking 5th in India's marine fish production, pulling in nearly 600,000 tons a year, earning close to, what, 7,000 crore in exports?
That's about $835 million US in 2022-23, a huge amount.
So the state has a massive stake in finding this balance.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just a local issue. It's critical economically, environmentally, and humanly for the whole state, with echoes globally.
Absolutely. And ultimately, I think this deep dive into Thengapattanam's struggle really forces us all to think about a fundamental question. It goes beyond easy answers.
Which is?
How do we genuinely protect our vital marine ecosystems, which are crucial for the planet's health, let's be clear, while simultaneously ensuring that the millions of people whose lives depend directly on those waters can keep making a dignified, sustainable living? The answer, as the fishermen of Thengapattanam keep reminding us, isn't just in writing better laws or having stricter enforcement. It lies in fostering real empathy, driving relentless innovation, and making this unwavering commitment to finding solutions that truly work for everyone.
Balancing human needs and ecological needs.
Exactly. Building bridges of understanding between policymakers and the people actually out there on the front lines of the ocean, acknowledging that both are essential for the future of our blue planet. It leaves you wondering, what kind of future do we want to create for our oceans and for the people whose lives are so tightly bound to them?